What's up, guys? I got a package I wanted to open with you guys, but before I do, it's related to the FM Towns Marty. So I wanted to talk about the FM Towns Marty, so that way you guys can know what the hell this is when I open it. But before I get into that, I did get my Christmas tree, and it is the season to be jolly. So I figured I could show it to you and my sweet-ass setup that I got going here. So here's my Christmas tree. I got my my Santa, my yellow Santa. He yellowed just like the Famicoms and the Super Nintendos happened to do. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is my Christmas tree. And going around it is my train set that I had since I was a little kid. And if you take a look on my train, you'll see Proto Man. He's chilling. Now this thing surprisingly still works. I'll show you. You hit this button here and it goes around the tray. There's an off switch right there, so it automatically shuts off, which I just did. So I just wanted to show you my sweet tree setup. I also got a few things over there, some toy trucks, so it's pretty cool, you know, get you in the holiday mood a little bit. Alright. Now, alright. Let's talk about the FM Towns Marty, because it's one of my favorite systems, as a matter of fact. A lot of people swear that it sucks, but I only have one thing to tell you guys, and that's right there. Go fuck yourself, because it's an awesome system. It was way ahead of its time, to say the least. So let's talk about it. First thing I want to show you, I've done a video on the FM Towns when I bought it, but I do want to talk a little bit more for the new subscribers and people who just want to hear me repeat myself. This is the controller that the FM Towns comes with. It's one of my favorite controllers, right behind the PC Engine controller. It's really nice on the hands. You know, you have your A and B, a really nice directional pad, and then your select and run buttons down here, basically your start and select. So it's a really nice controller. It reminds me of a boomerang, and it's really sleek. The connector is a nice, you know, pretty nice solid connector. This thing is built to last. So that's the controller. Now let's talk about the system briefly. For people who don't know, the FM Towns Marty is the first 32-bit CD-based system. It runs backups, which is great because the games average around $150 and up for the good ones. And it has you know, your inputs there. It has a floppy drive, which is used to play certain games and to save. Your on switch is oddly set up onto the far side. It has a keyboard input. Nothing on that side. Coming on the back here, you have your composite video and an S-video input, which is really nice. Now, like I said, the FM Towns Marty was the very first 32-bit video game system in the world. It came out in 1993, I want to say. Maybe 1994, I'm not really sure, but around that time. Now, it was followed by the FM Towns Marty 2, which some people say it's the exact same system. Some people are going to tell you that it's got a little bit more memory. My personal opinion is it's the exact same system, just a little bit of a different color. It resembles more of a darker gray with a yellow button there instead of a gray button. Other than that, it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's more sought after than this version, but if you could find either of them for a fair price, definitely get it. This system could fetch anywhere from $200 to $350, somewhere around that range. But the games are really what's going to kill you in price. Like I said, the games average about $150 and up. But for good reason. It has a huge library of games because the system was modeled off of the Fujitsu FM Towns 9800 PC, and that was a kick-ass computer of its time as well. It played that's basically where, you know, that was one of your pioneers back in the day for computer games. It had a huge library, and luckily that huge library, most of it, is compatible with this particular system. So if you have an FM Towns CD-ROM based game, the odds are it'll play in here. Not totally guaranteed, but the odds are it should work, depending on how much RAM it required. Some of the good games that were released for this system were Afterburner, Splatterhouse, which is a it's said to be the best port for Splatterhouse on this planet. It also had Viewpoint, which is one of my favorite games for the console. It had Marble Madness and Rainbow Islands and a whole bunch of other perfect arcade ports where you're not going to get that kind of quality anywhere else. Now, I'm a huge fan of the FM Towns company, just because, you know, Fujitsu, this was their attempt, you know, to hit the video game market hard, and I think they did a great job. So now that you guys have a little bit of an idea what the hell the FM Towns Marty is, let's open this package and see what I got. Just give me a second here. Alright. This thing's heavy. It's about 10 pounds in here, so it's a pretty nice package. Alright, let's tear this thing open. Before I open it, I want you guys to know this is probably one of my rarest systems that I own now. It's right up there with my Laser Active, with my PC Engine and Mega Drive packs. It's also up there with the PC Engine LT, my boxed PC Engine LT, and it's also up there with my PC Engine Duo LCD monitor. This thing is very rare. My whole entire life of collecting, I've only seen this particular one for sale, and I look for it quite often. So I'm really excited about this. Now, of course, there's a few downfalls with this particular package, but you know, it's a challenge, and I don't mind. All right, let's open this first. Try to zoom in on this a little bit. Alright. The odds are most of you guys have never even heard of this, so that's another reason why I'm really excited about showing it to you, because I really do love being the first one to give you guys some information on obscure things that a lot of people don't know about. Alright, what you're looking at here is the FM Towns Car Marty. Now, the FM Towns Car Marty was released 1 year after the FM Towns Marty, and it goes down in history for being the most expensive video game console when it was released. The Laser Active, I believe, was somewhere in the $1,000 to $2,000 range when it came out, which is ridiculous. But this bad boy, from what I heard, it was released at a price tag of $3,000 to $3,500 back in 1994, somewhere around that time. I'm not great with dates. So this is the system. Now, what this thing was used for was it would go in your car in Japan, and it would hook up to your car, and it functioned as a few different things. The first thing that it functioned as was the world's first GPS system. Now, with the add-on, which is available for the Car Marty, you can hook this thing up to a GPS, to the FM Towns GPS pack, and you can have your GPS. So the GPSs that we have nowadays, the TomToms and the Garmins that you can get for, $70 to a few $100s, they were all copying this particular hardware because this was the very first GPS ever released to the home market. Other than that, it has a CD-ROM drive here, so it could play the same exact library that the FM Towns Marty could play, which I showed you a few minutes ago. So this thing is a beast of a system. Now, it was made to be put into a car, so for me to hook this thing up to a car would probably be impossible because I just don't have the skills, and honestly, you have to have more wires that I don't have and I'm never going to find. But I'm planning on modifying this thing to work on my home television, which shouldn't be too hard because it does output composite NS video. I just have to find the the traces on the board and modify it myself. Here's the back here. This is where you would hook up your video out, because back in the day they did make a kit for this called the FM Towns Car Marty Home Kit, and it would come with the power supply and video cables to hook this thing up to your TV. But being the rare system that this is, I'm never going to find that. So I'm going to have to find out what pins do what, and I'm going to have to find a replacement power supply, and this thing is going to work on my television. Has 2 controller ports. This is where you would put in it's like a PCMIA card sort of, where you would put for the GPS hardware, and that's where the CD would go. This is a nice little handle, which is cool. So you could carry it around. Like, it's supposed to be a little portable, but obviously this thing's pretty beast. They made 2 versions of this. They made the MPV-1, which is this model. Then they made the MPV, I want to say 10, I think, or 20, something along those lines. And the reason they released the second one is because this particular model was very easy to be broken. This is untested, so I don't know if it's even going to work. But I'll find out soon enough. Now, it didn't come with any of the cables to hook it up, unless they're in the box. We'll take a look. But like I said, I'm going to have to kind of mod this thing a little bit to work, if it even does. But I like a challenge, and hopefully I can get it running. So I wanted to show you the FM Towns Car Marty, because this thing is one of the rarest things I've ever had the opportunity to purchase. I also got a few other things in the box, which I think we should open. So this right here is a boxed GPS system. So this is what you would buy if you want to hook this thing up to a GPS and use it in your car as a navigational system. Now, this is not going to work in America, but I have no idea. If I was in Japan, I doubt this thing would still work either way. But it's a great collector's piece. It's mint condition. The box is in mint condition. Really nice. So let's take a look at what's inside. So here's the GPS antenna, which you would, put similar to a Sirius satellite radio in your car, so it could, shoot out into the sky or whatever, with a little input jack, which would go into the Car Marty. This is the Global Positioning System Receiver Unit, which I guess is just part of the hardware that you would obviously need in order to, like I said, get that GPS going. This stuff's just really cool, I mean, yeah, it's not going to work, but who the hell cares? It's awesome. Came with the little navigational controller here, which is fucking awesome. Take a look at that thing. With a nice, with the same input as a FM Towns controller. Whoops. Just give you a better look at this thing. It's really nice on the hands. You could, control the GPS. They also made an add-on for this which was a video monitor. So that way, you can see the direction, similar to a Garmin or whatever, but it's a lot bigger. And there's not even a single picture of that thing on the internet because it's so rare. And then it also came with just a bunch of wiring, a wiring harness. And you know what, to be totally honest with you, I think I'm going to try to use this adapter to build my video plugs, because thankfully, since I got this, and it plugs into the same input that the video out home kit would plug into, perhaps I could use this to make my cables. So this is a nice little addition that I didn't know was going to be in here. And I also got, this is pretty cool, I got a little FM Towns screwdriver and some hardware. And then the navigational manual. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. That's it for me. I just wanted to show you the FM Towns car Marty. I'm gonna order the power supply, which is a really rare power supply. It's a 12 volt, 3 amp with a center negative, so it's really hard to find because it's very untraditional these days. But I found one and I'm gonna order it. So once I get that in, I'll find out if this thing even powers up. But I'm not too concerned, to be honest with you, because I know I could fix it. Let's just make sure there's nothing else. Alright guys, so that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and you learned a little bit about the FM Towns Marty and the car Marty. Take care guys, and Merry Christmas.